Sage here on the Sage channel is Sleep, Art, Game, and Eat, and today a new patch came up for Space Engineers that added the ability to use these lovely mining drills and also this hand drill. It also did a big change for the way you rotate objects. If you look in the top right, they now have this thing that actually changes depending on which way you're looking and see what buttons you'd push alter, which it's taken me a lot to get used to, and also I find it slightly annoying to get an idea of which direction goes along which axes now. You have to look at the top right and not just at the block. It is also slightly less useful if you're used to maybe building while floating around and rotating in strange areas, because now the buttons you're pushing are going to be different as you rotate about, which, well, it's fairly annoying and disorienting, and I think it's designed for more of, hey, if you're building on flat planes and stuff, and not so much in space. So hopefully there's an option to switch back to the original one at some point, or maybe even, I don't know, maybe a way to just have this one work more like the other one, or have it locked to one place depending on the object. So home and end would always be on that side of the box at the top right, even if I rotate like this. As it is now, it's changed the way I'm using my mouse a tiny bit, because of course I had 1, 4, 2, 5, and 3, and 6 bound to insert, delete, home, end, page up, and page down. So now the buttons are slightly farther apart than they were before when I was rotating along axes. Anyway, enough of that. Let's head back up here to this mining machine I built, which actually has enough mining gear on it to mine a hole the exact same size as pretty much the ship without having to worry about the sides hitting it. Now, of course, if you try to turn while you're in the hole, you have some trouble. It's a very simple ship, just got the engines on it for forward, back, up, down. Not really anything special. Single reactor to power the drills, and the lights that I have stuck along the bottom here. I guess we should have seen this coming, considering the last update had a new drill texture that was in its updates. Anyhow, if we hop in here really quickly, I can show you some of the interesting things about it. First, I'm going to go in third person, and actually when you just turn them on, which is the same way you would use the drill, by clicking and dragging it down to your hotbar, pressing 1 or whatever number you put it on, and then left click to use it. And you can see they're a bit loud, but they also actually move the ship a bit. So if I didn't have the engines on right now to sort of balance it out, it would actually be moving it all over the place. So let's actually go in and kill our inertial dampeners, which it actually took me a minute to figure out where they were because somehow I'd forgotten. You can see now the whole ship actually moves when I use those drills. Anyway, if I was to run into something, I can come back in the first person for that. You can see when they hit stuff, they create this black smoke and also a few sort of fake little bits of rock, but if you look closely, there are some real rocks there now. And if we were to go to third person, you can see a bunch of rocks flinging out from this. And if I rotate the ship, you can see we're hitting the edge there and it's deforming. Deforming asteroids in this is actually pretty damn good. You still can't really build stations into asteroids as much as I'd like to have their own little areas, but you can easily mine into asteroids using a machine like this, or even just using the hand drill, which will take even longer. And I'll actually show you that hand drill right now as I fly away. You can see these little bits floating off into space. I think they'll keep up their speed. They might actually slow down after a while, but who knows? Clearly they are moving pretty quickly right now, and they appear to be keeping their speed, so I guess they will probably drift off into the abyss. One weird thing, though, we have with this drill, the hand drill, is if you look, it's at the sort of the bottom middle of the screen, and that is actually where it makes impact. It's not at your target reticle if you're in first person, which is fairly annoying, and I'm sure it's something they will fix. As for collecting materials when you're drilling, the large drills here, actually, if I was to fly up to one and press K, you can see, actually it didn't take that time. Oh, you can see my drills hitting that because it's actually sticking out in front of me. If I fly up to this, press T and then K, you can see the drill 5, it's actually collected some of the stone that we've mined. So we got, 2.0 kilograms in there or whatever. Or actually, no, we got 5,000 kilograms in there. Anyway, if we fly down here now, this is something I've set up that I'm calling the catcher's mitt. And the idea behind this is very simple, that while you mine, this thing will catch it. And I mainly designed this because when you're mining with that thing, if you just go on a straight line, sooner or later it's going to stop working because you'll end up with all these little tiny rocks in front of you that don't have anywhere to go, and your ship will just stop once it's hit those. But if you have something like this, with gravity generators on, it'll actually pull all of those rocks down because those small rocks, these that count as items, actually are affected by gravity. So really quickly, I'm actually going to turn on my lights on this, and you can see I have a sort of grid because I've put the lights behind those windows. so you can kind of line it up more easily thanks to that grid. And so really quickly, I'm going to position it under the area where we've been mining, get it all nice and lined up. I'm actually going to go up a bit. That way there are 4 gravity generators you can see down here at the bottom. Should be in range of all of it. And you can see we sort of get this X pattern when we get close enough because the lights are getting closer. And we line that up pretty well. I'm going to say right about here. That should do. That should get us, yeah, that'll pull most of the stuff out of the holes that we've dug right about there. So there we go. Now that we have that lined up, I'm going to press K, go into here. I believe these gravity generators state does not get saved when you save the game, so be aware that if you're setting stuff up, you save, quit, and come back, those gravity generators might automatically be on, might cause some trouble. So really quickly, I'm going to switch all these on. There we go. And you can see everything starts falling down really quickly into here and being funneled and caught. Now, the way I have this set up, I'm really quickly going to fly up there and show you. If we can actually get out of here. Actually, I can show you right here, too. Let me turn that off. If you run over here, you can see a few little pieces fell all the way down here. That's because I have a grate up there. Or, actually, they're technically called the windows. But I have one of those right there. And small things, and sometimes other pieces can sometimes sort of glitch or fit through those. But most things cannot, actually. I originally thought they were counted as a solid, but apparently some things will go through them. It's possibly just how thin they are, they breach through. But up here is the main idea I have behind how this would work, is where you basically have either that grate or probably just a normal floor block, this big drop here, and then of course the large catcher's mitt slanting bits all the way up here to collect a large area and funnel it into a single spot. Now, of course, the reason there's a big drop right here is that way it can just be collected all the way up to the top here without having to worry about it spreading out up there. And when you're ready to collect these, all you got to do is open this door, which will probably be full up. Maybe some will pour out, but then all you got to do is point at them, press and hold T, and whenever you point at something, it'll just pick it up. So you can just press and hold T and just sort of vacuum it all up. It's possible that conveyors in the future will automatically do this, or maybe some other thing they will add. I suspect that will actually be added, but I'm not sure if it'll be conveyors or something special. Anyway, as I have this working right now, my idea is that you collect it all up, you go to a cargo container, press K, and then you click and drag and place whatever in the cargo container. And behind this cargo container, because I'm thinking maybe conveyors will actually, if they don't work like I just said, they'll work like pipes in, let's say, Minecraft Tech-It. I have these conveyors actually behind that small container, so it would be pulled out and into here, or possibly just directly into a refinery to refine whatever you're collecting. Maybe out of these rocks you can actually get little bits of metal. Now really quickly, before I end this video, I am going to fly back up here, and I'm going to do some mining just so you can get an idea of what it's like to mine stuff while it's being pulled away by this, which is, it's pretty cool. It's actually pretty dang cool. So let's fly in here, hop into this control seat, press V, that way we can tell what we're doing a bit better since this vehicle has low visibility. Right in the middle here should work, and let's start mining in. And again, the visibility is partially because of my problem, because I put all these little these drills right around the cockpit, but also it's largely also the fact that you get all that smoke when you're mining through here. And also, of course, you end up with rocks building up on your windshield when you're mining like this, because as you move forward and the fact that gravity is facing to the back of the ship, all these rocks are just falling into your screen. And you can see here it's mined up a fair bit. We can keep going, and I'm actually going to readjust, that way we're going pretty much straight through here. And I'm just going to see how far I can go until it possibly ends up with those blocks not moving again. When I said blocks not moving, I'm talking about all the little pieces in front of the ship preventing us from going anywhere. Okay, now you can see all the rocks that were on my windshield are now floating in front of me, and they're not actually coming towards me at all, and that is largely because I think I have reached the point where we're not mining that far forward, and because we've moved far enough into the asteroid now, that we're no longer within the gravity range of the large ship. So I'm actually going to stop here. Oh, I said stop. Okay, there we go. I'm going to reverse this out of here, and hopefully, as I reverse back, I'll pull some of these asteroids, or these little chunks with me. If not, what I'd have to do at this point is actually move the larger ship closer to the asteroid itself to pull them all out, and considering it looks like a lot of them are still stuck floating up there, that's what I'm going to have to really quickly do. Of course, in first person, I'm back to where the gravity can affect the little bits in front of it, the cockpit, so they're now blocking my vision. Also, you can see I ended up actually digging at slightly an angle as compared to the actual station itself, but that won't matter because all that stuff in there will roll down the hill once I get the station close enough, which is what I'm actually going to do now, is back this little thing out of the way and then move the station in where it'll pull out all that stuff. And also you can see all this stuff falling out of the front of my little vehicle because now of course gravity is trying to pull it out to the front, and I'm actually going to rotate it around just to dump this stuff out really quick, and then I will move the station into position. And I'm calling it a station, even though technically it is just a large spaceship. Okay, so now you can see as I move the ship up, it'll come into position and you'll see a lot of stuff start falling out of there probably. Yeah, there you go. Fair bit of stuff pouring out. And even some stuff looks like it's actually going straight through the rock face, which is a bit glitchy. Could explain why we had some stuff down below the main mining collecting area. It's possible that stuff actually is just glitching through and not actually going through the small grates. Now here you can actually see I'm moving pretty slowly. It's because the game is actually slowing down now. Even though my frame rate's around 13, the game itself feels like it's moving at a much more sluggish pace. All these little bits are actually slowing up the game a fair bit, which is problematic, but not that big of a deal. That's about it, though, for today. You can also mine gold. I actually mined some gold earlier with the little drill. Not really anything different. It seems like it breaks a bit quicker, but that's about it. I actually have it here in my inventory. I can show you the little chunk I mined. It is right here, so I can click and drag and drop that, and it'll actually fall past me. Yep, there it goes. And of course, these things that fall can actually do damage to your ship, so it's usually minimal because they're so small, but I think if you got a whole bunch of stuff like I have here, and actually if you drop this, the more stuff you have, the bigger the rock. So that's a pretty big rock, and you can see it's actually done some serious damage as it falls, so you got to watch out for that. Down here we might see some little tiny bits of damage from all those rocks falling, but usually nothing too much to worry about. And you see now we've cleared out that. All of our rocks down here are piled up. We are lagging like crazy here. It's not frame rate lag though, it's actually everything's just running slowly. You can see how slowly my feet are moving there. Very strange, and you can see now we filled up to like a quarter of the door, and you can imagine this thing filling up all the way if you're mining out a whole asteroid, collecting it all, and then having it sent down to be processed. And you can see that big asteroid or that big rock I just dropped a minute ago has caused some serious damage down here. Yep, that was actually it right there in that hallway. Anyway, thanks a bunch for watching. Hope this was informative. I'm still not too keen on this new building thing here, especially not the fact that like insert and page up are now to rotate around whatever axis is directly pointing at you. Bit strange, far apart buttons, but I'm thinking maybe I'll get used to it. If not, maybe there's an option to switch it back that I haven't found yet, or maybe they'll just add that option later. Anyway, again, thanks a bunch for watching. I'll see you guys next time.